10 incredible houses you won't believe exist. Most of the people you know have a dream house, the place where they would like to spend the rest of their lives. For some, that might be a cottage villa in the rural part of town. For others, it might be a tidy home in a quiet neighborhood, but for others, a dream home has a completely different meaning. They say that home is a person, not a place, and they're right. But when you see what we have in store for you, you might disagree. These are some of the most unusual homes we could find on the web. Some of them are inspired by nature, others made for pure art, and some were even inspired by a movie or TV show. So here are the 10 incredible houses you won't believe exist. Let's begin, shall we? Number 10. Falling Water House. Located 43 miles southeast of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Falling Water House was created by architect Frank Lloyd Wright in 1935. What makes this house great is the fact that it was built over a waterfall on Bear Run in the Laurel Highlands of the Allegheny Mountains. It was designed for the wife of Edward J. Kaufman Sr., Lillian. The family was the proud owner of the Kaufman department store, so they had a few bucks to burn. Any other architect trying to build a house over a waterfall would be denied access to do so. But Frank Lloyd Wright built the house. It was so nicely incorporated into the natural landscape that it was even on the list of the Smithsonian's 28 places to visit before you die. Later, it became a World Heritage Site and a national treasure. Number 9. The Shoe House. The previous owner of the house, Colleen Farabaugh, and her husband Ronald, say that the house chose them and not the other way around. Malin Haynes, a shoe salesman in the late 40s, built this house because he destroyed that like button. Joking aside, Haynes actually wanted to advertise his business. The house was designed by architect Fred J. Remp and is located in York, Pennsylvania. It has 5 stories and is 25 feet tall. Colleen says that Haynes built the house in the form of the shoe he used to sell the most of, and now the current owners rent out the house to honeymooners and families who want to pass an extraordinary weekend away from home. The house was in pretty rough shape, and the Farabaughs had to do a lot of remodeling. Now everywhere around the house there are thousands and thousands of shoes, many of which were donated by people who visited or stayed there. Number 8. Hobbit House. I suppose it's a bit of a desire to live a simple life, and the fact that it also got connected with the Hobbit thing, which was never our intention in the first place, says Simon Dale, the architect and owner of this house. He lived in the house along with his wife and 2 children. They wanted to build an eco-friendly home just like our ancestors used to do. He found the inspiration for this home in a book called Shelter. The Hobbit House was not his first attempt at building a home from natural materials. He initially built a smaller hut which he used to live in after they've had their first child. The second house, or the Hobbit House, was built later on when they had their second child. It cost them around 3,000 British pounds, and they built it with one side of the house stuck to the hillside. Tourists from all over the world flocked to see this house after the house went viral on Google, Yahoo, and MSN. 7. The Floating Seahorse. Do you know the artificial islands built in Dubai in the form of the world map and its countries? Well, this is a boat that sits next to one of these islands and has 3 decks. But what could be so special about a boat with 3 decks? One of the decks is submerged underwater, and the bedroom and bathroom that are located in the bottom deck are covered with a thick glass wall, which is designed so visitors and owners can enjoy the sea life while laying comfortably in bed. The other 2 decks feature a living room, kitchen, dining room, terrace with sunbathing area, and a jacuzzi on the upper floor. The boat was presented at the Dubai Boat Show, and since then it's been mass-produced for businessmen who want to buy it and either rent it or live in it. Number 6. Carrot House. Do you see it? I bet you don't. Do you see that structure in the middle of the 2 buildings? That's right. That's the house we've decided to feature in the video today. The architect was supported by the Warsaw Town Hall and the Polish Modern Art Foundation to construct the narrowest house ever constructed in the world. It measures only 3 feet in width at its narrowest point and 5 feet at its widest point. It contains 2 floors that are accessible through a retractable ladder. It contains a living area, kitchen, bedroom, and bathroom. The entire house is painted white, and the windows and walls are kind of translucent in order to let in as much light as possible. Number 5. Casa do Pinedo. The guy that built this must have really liked the Flintstones. I mean, just look at this house. It's built, or rather carved, inside a freaking boulder. It's located between Celorico de Basto and Fefe in northern Portugal, and its name translates to House of the Rock from Portugal. The house was built from 4 giant boulders that constitute the walls of the house. Casa de Pinedo was started in 1972 and finished in 1974. The architect initially designed it as a living space for him and his family, but since then it serves as a museum of photographs and relics related to Pinedo's history. Just a quick heads up, much like the Flintstones, there's no electricity in this house. Despite this fact, there have been tons of visitors who come to Portugal, especially for this house. Number 4. The Upside Down House. Can you guess the actual symbolism of this house? It was built in 2007 on a hillside in Poland. It symbolizes the turning point of the socialistic, communistic regime that was present in the country. Although the interior is just like any other run-of-the-mill house, it took builders much longer to finish as the design was difficult to conceive and the fact that the house was built on an angle. To get inside this house, visitors will have to use the attic window. The first floor is, you guessed it, the attic. As you stroll up, or rather down the house, you'll see vintage furniture from the 70s, as well as an old TV set that constantly plays socialistic and communistic propaganda that was usually present at the time. Number 3. New Refuge Gervasudi. If just climbing the Alps isn't daunting enough for you, now you have another chance to scare yourself to death with this house that's leaning on a cliff. Every morning, you'll be thanking God the thing didn't tip over. But all joking aside, this house was designed by Italian architects Leap Factory, who usually construct houses for unusual environments. So the question still remains, how the heck did they manage to build the house way up there? Well, the building itself was constructed on the ground, then lifted up by a helicopter and secured in place. It contains several bunk beds, and in the front there's a living room, a kitchen, and a dining area. The entire structure runs on solar energy panels. Number 2. Antillia. Have you ever wanted to own the world's most expensive home? Well, Mukesh Ambani made that dream a reality by constructing Antillia. The jaw-dropping $2 billion home in Dubai, it's currently ranked as the second most expensive residential property, just behind Buckingham Palace, where the royal family of England lives. This house has 27 floors, 10 fully functioning elevators, and measures 568 feet in height. Every single floor in the house has a distinct design, not to mention the house has 6 whole floors dedicated to car parking. What's more interesting about the home is the fact that Ambani owns only one home, the Antillia, where he lives alongside his expanded family. Number 1. The Flintstones House. If you're ever in California and passing the Doran Memorial Bridge, you can't help but notice the orange dome-shaped house that's peeking over the eccentric park. It was initially designed by William Nicholson in 1976. He was inspired by the mosques in Istanbul, but he didn't intend to create a house that would look like something out of a cartoon. But since everyone else looked at it as such, he went with the crowd. It has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, one of which contains a stone bathtub. The interior is rustic, playful, and colorful, just like the exterior. The owner, Lawrence Fang, constantly is adding new artwork, cartoon sculptures, and she even introduced a huge dinosaur in the front yard and a human-sized statue of Fred Flintstone. Because of its unusual design, the owner's been sued by the state, but she says that her house is just another representation of America, different creatures living together. That's our list, guys. What's the most unusual house you know? Please tell us in the comments section below. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notifications bell to get notified of any future uploads. As always, thanks for watching.